properties of covalent bond. Covalent bond. Covalent compounds. Write down this. Right. Covalent compounds. Covalent compounds are generally poor conductors. Huh, it counts. Poor conductors of electricity. Poor conductor of electricity. As they do not contain charged particles. As they do not contain charged particles. Why they don't contain charged particles? Because they will not give the electrons, they take the electrons, they share the electrons. That is why the ions are not formed in that. So that is why we will not get the charged particle in that. Hence, they don't conduct electricity. To conduct electricity, what should be there? Either free electrons or charged particles. Okay. Then, next. These compounds are insoluble in water but dissolve in organic solvents. In organic solvents. They are volatile in nature. Volatile in nature. They ask sometimes what is the difference between ionic compounds and covalent compounds or characteristics. All this they will ask. Okay. First we'll do hydrocarbons. Write down this. Organic compounds. Organic compounds. See, a few things are there. Next I will do. First we'll do these things, important things. Next we will do. Allotropes of carbon. That is different types of like carbon exists in different forms. So that one we'll do afterwards. Okay. Organic compounds. Write down this. Organic compounds containing containing, okay, organic compounds containing only hydrogen and carbon are called hydrocarbons. They are called as hydrocarbons. Okay. So organic compounds, as I told yesterday, whenever it contains carbon, that is carbon with other combining, they form the compounds, right? So they are called as organic compounds. In that, if they are telling that hydrocarbons, that means it contains only hydrogen and carbon, then those compounds we call it as hydrocarbons. Again, I repeat, if the compound contains only hydrogen and carbon, then they are called as hydrocarbons. Okay, so why we give the separate name means so many different compounds we have in that. That is why the separate name they have given hydrocarbons. In that, we will study about saturated hydrocarbons and unsaturated hydrocarbons. Right. The hydrocarbons can be classified as, first one, saturated hydrocarbons and second one, unsaturated hydrocarbons. So first one, saturated hydrocarbon, not in that, right? Saturated hydrocarbons. The hydrocarbons, write down this, the hydrocarbons in which all the carbon atoms are linked with only single covalent bonds are called saturated hydrocarbons. And saturated hydrocarbons are stable in nature. That is, breaking a single bond is difficult because it will be stable in nature. Okay. So first thing, hydrocarbons means the compounds which has only hydrogen and carbon, we call it as hydrocarbons. And in the hydrocarbons, we classify as saturated hydrocarbons and unsaturated hydrocarbons. So if the hydrocarbon contains only single bonds in that, then they are called saturated hydrocarbons. If they contain only single bond, then they are called saturated hydrocarbons. Unsaturated hydrocarbons means if they contain at least one double bond or one triple bond, then they are called unsaturated hydrocarbon. Again, I repeat, saturated means the hydrocarbon, if it contains only the single bond, then they are called saturated hydrocarbons. Unsaturated hydrocarbons means if it contains the double bond or triple bond, at least one double bond or one triple bond, then they are called unsaturated hydrocarbons. As we see, if you have double bond, we think they will be more stronger. It is not like that. If it's a saturated hydrocarbon, it is stable in nature. Breaking the bond is difficult. Okay. Unsaturated hydrocarbons, breaking the bond is easier. Okay. So saturated hydrocarbons, they are stable in nature. Yesterday we studied about single bond, double bond, triple bond. Do you remember? Single bond means from carbon to carbon, if you have only one pair of sharing electrons, then it is a single bond. Single bond means carbon to carbon, if there is only one pair of electrons are shared, then it is a single bond. But if the carbon to carbon, the two pairs are shared, then it is double bond. If three pairs are shared between the same two carbon atoms, pairs of electrons are shared between the same two carbon atoms, then it is a triple bond. Okay, this is written. Right now, next, unsaturated hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons which has at least one double or triple bond. Hydrocarbons which has at least one double or triple bond are called unsaturated hydrocarbons. Unsaturated hydrocarbons. Okay. See, just to explain, I'll write now. For example, you have CH4, methane. Okay. So it has, we write like this. Okay. That means one bond here means one pair of electron we share. It shares between carbon and hydrogen here. With hydrogen, it will be always one pair only, because hydrogen, it has all one electron, it will try to take another one. So to become stable, only first orbit will be there. So with hydrogen, it is only one bond. Only with the carbon, it can have two or one. Okay, for example, you take ethane. Two carbon atom will be there here. Okay, two carbon atoms will be there. Here you have all single bond only. That means what? Carbon to carbon here, you have only one bond. What does it mean? It will share only one pair of electrons. If I write electron dot structure, how it will be there? Like this. Okay, so if you observe these two here, when you circle that, hydrogen has these two electrons. For this carbon, 2, 4, 6, 8 electrons. For this carbon, 2 here, 4, 6, these 8 electrons, it will share. Correct now? So here, if you observe carbon to carbon, only one pair is shared. So only one bond. Okay. So this is saturated hydrocarbon. Okay. Another example, ethene is there. It is like this. Okay. Ethene is there. Here, how many bonds it should have? That means that many pair of electrons it has to share here. How many bonds? 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is satisfying the valency here. And if you observe, 2 carbon, it is sharing the 2 pair of electrons here. 2 pair of electrons with the same carbon atoms, it is sharing two pair of electrons. There it is called double bond. Okay. In this only you have ethane, one compound is there. Here they are sharing three pair of electrons. This is one compound. There it is sharing three pair of electrons. One pair, two pair, three pair. Okay. So here we call it as triple bond. So double bond and triple bond, if the compound has double bond or triple bond, they are called unsaturated hydrocarbons. General formula CnH2n plus 2. Okay. Saturated hydrocarbons. Saturated hydrocarbons. First, we'll just do this so that you will understand. Then we will do about cyclic compounds. So, alkanes. General formula is CnH2n plus 2. It is saturated hydrocarbon. So, first one we studied about the methane. See, there is in carbon compounds, we have so much lot of compounds in the carbon that the whole chemistry itself we divide for the carbon and its compound as organic chemistry. The rest we call it as inorganic chemistry. Okay, that means why we study only that only in the one thing is because we have so much of different compounds in the carbon with the carbon. Okay, so for naming also we use something called nomenclature. We use something called the nomenclature. Okay, by that name you will be able to know about that compound. If I'm writing methane, by just that you will know how many carbon atoms are there, what type of bond is there. All this we will be able to know by its name. Okay, that is called the nomenclature of the carbon compounds. So one example I will give about the alkanes. Alkanes means they have the single bond, that is they are saturated hydrocarbons. In that, first one is the methane. Meth means if you have one carbon atom in that compound, we call it as meth. Okay. And ane means it indicates it's a single bond. It indicates it is a single bond. Okay. So, how to write that? Usually, see, all it is difficult to remember. How to write is carbon, you have meth means you have only one carbon atom, all single bond. So, write like that. Okay. So, it's a hydrocarbon. So, remaining should be all hydrogen and it should satisfy the bonds. So, you will write the 4 hydrogen here. Okay. En. En is double bond. Ene is double bond. Ane is single bond. Different names. Alkene is there. Yne is also there. They are different. Ane means single bond. Okay. Methane means, so we have, what is the formula? This is called structural formula. And what is its molecular formula? CH4 is its molecular formula. Okay. A second one, it is ethane. Ethane. Okay. So ethane means it will have 2 carbon atoms. Eth indicates 2 carbon atoms. Wherever you observe, like ethanoic acid, somewhere we studied, right? There also, if you observe, it has only 2 carbon atoms. ETH, where it comes, it indicates it has 2 carbon atoms. Okay. ANE means single bond. Now write all the single bonds and satisfy. 2 carbon atoms will be there. For the, okay, remaining, it will be the hydrogen atoms. So how many carbon is there here? C2. How many hydrogen will be there? It is 6. Huh. Write for next one. Write this. Write this now first. Propane. Propane will have 3 carbon atoms. General formula we have CnH2n plus 2, correct? No? So N indicates number of carbon atoms. Okay, N indicates number of carbon atoms. Pro means carbon atom is 3. N is equal to 3 here. So what is the molecular formula we will get? Directly if you can write C3 H2 into 3 here plus 2. That is C3H8 molecular formula. Okay, structural formula, how you will write? 3 carbon atoms and all are single bonds. So for carbon, there will be 4 bonds. So remaining you fill with the hydrogen. And if you count also, see 3 carbon, 3 plus 3, 6, 6 plus 2, 8 hydrogen. Okay, so this group, we call it as alkanes. Okay, this group we call it as alkenes. And first letters, it will indicate the how many carbon atoms are there, and ANA will indicate it is a single bond. By just the name, so you will be able to write the compound. So that we call it as the nomenclature of the carbon compounds. The naming of that, how we use that, we call it as nomenclature of the carbon compounds. Okay. Written everyone? Write down, finish it. Butane. But indicates, okay, but indicates number of carbon atoms are 4. Okay, write this structural formula, molecular formula, everything for this, and even the electron dot structure, everything. Molecular formula, structural formula, and electron dot structure for butane. Butane dot structure. By structural formula, you can write, no? First write structural formula, from that you write. But indicates carbon is 4. 4 carbon atoms will be there. Next one is pentane. Okay, after this, write this also. Pentane. Pent means 5. Carbon will be 5 here. Okay. Yes. So butane, what happens? C4H 4 into 2, 8, 8 plus 2, 10. Everywhere. And here you have 4 carbon atoms. And it will be. So electron dot structure, everyone knows, no? No need to write again now. No. So pentane, it will be C5H12. And same way we can write 3, 4, 5. Next is the hexane. Hex means what? 6. So C6H14 will be there. That's it. Okay. So you can have any number, hexane, then we'll have the heptane, that is 7, octane 8. In the textbook it's not there. By chance if they give also, you can write out of syllable. They will not give manual. Okay, non-name means 9, decane means 10, like that it will come. Okay, so this is about the alkanes. Next we will write about the alkenes. Right, finish it. Then okay. Okay, stop talking. Now write alkenes. Write about the next type. Next type of hydrocarbons. Alkenes. Okay. Write down this. Alkenes are unsaturated hydrocarbons which contains at least one double bond. At least one double bond. Okay, at least one double bond. Now, general formula. Okay, general formula CnH2n. CnH2n, where N indicates number of carbon atoms. Number of carbon atoms. Okay. Number of carbon atoms. Can you write methane? What is the formula? Can you write? See, methane is not there. Why means at least one double bond should be there, right? So meth means one carbon atom will be there. With hydrogen, it will share only one electron. So you can't have the double bond with the hydrogen, only with the hydrogen and carbon. Okay. So to have the double bond in the hydrocarbons, you should have at least two carbon atoms. With the carbon atoms only, carbon to carbon only, you will have double bond and triple bond. Again, I repeat, see, hydrogen valency is 1. That means it can share only one pair of electrons. So with carbon to hydrogen, you can't have double bond or triple bond. Correct? No, because it can share only one. So it starts with the ethene. Okay, it starts with the ethene. It will not start with the methane, it will start with the ethene because meth means one carbon atom. Correct? No, so you cannot have double bond there with one carbon and hydrogen. That is why alkene starts with the ethene. Okay. First one is the ethene. What is the general formula we have? CnH2n. N is the number of carbon atoms. So we have C2H4. Okay. So we have two carbon atoms, double bond between them. So two bonds are already formed. So you will have remaining two. So 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Like bonds. And electron dot structure, carbon, you will have 2 here. See, ethene means two carbon atoms. ENE means you will have the double bond. One double bond you will have. Okay. So general formula, if you write CnH2n will be its general formula. N is equal to 2. So it is C2. H2 into 2, 4. This is the molecular formula. Structural formula, first write two carbon atoms and write double bond for that. Okay, so two bonds are already formed. Remaining two you have for hydrogen. Actually, from double bonds, huh, like that. Okay, clear now? And now you should write the electron dot structure. Structural, from here also you can write two carbon atoms, two bonds here. Already two is over, remaining three, four like that. So count also you will get the same thing like that. So two. There you will have triple bond. YN. Huh. Correct only. Correct only. Same thing only, no? You have three you have written, no? No, only two will come. See, here we will end the today's class. Do not forget to subscribe the channel. If the content of this channel is useful, please like the video and share with your friends. Thank you.